My name is Nate Patterson, and I created SWINGFIELD. SWINGFIELD is the story of real people living real lives right here in the city of Springfield, Massachusetts.
In the context?
Well, the context was very clear. The president was speaking about race relations and how things have come far. However, a lot of people have to understand that
I don't trust a soul as a matter of fact. And bullets ain't got no names, but it's bad for your back. And niggas snitch for the cheese, it's like the fat of the rat. But me, I only smoke weed, it's like the fat of the pack of the gas, nigga. Try to rob me, that's your ass, nigga. I'ma do you like I did the last nigga. Give him a couple shots, no liquor in my glass, nigga. Get it, got it, you get it, got it, I gotta have, nigga. Anything you want, I want half, nigga. Or I'm a spaz, nigga. Tryna get this cash quicker than a nigga with his hands out. If I don't fuck with you, then nigga, I'm giving man downs. And how that's your bro 1 minute, but he a friend now. Fuck a friend. What's the synonym? Free all the guys. Don't send them in. Life's a bitch, ain't shit sweet. Cinnamon. God forgive me, Lord knows.
This is SWINGFIELD, the story of people trying to make their way in life and trying to get ahead.
Justice Walk, starting at the Mason Square greenery between State and Overham Road. Okay, so make sure you all come out to start at 11 o'clock. We're marching down to the City Hall steps. It's going to take place from 12 until 4 o'clock. We have guest speakers coming in. Brothers, you don't want to miss this. Okay, you're always talking about what's not being done. Okay, come be a part of this movement, because once again, it's not going to, the real work is going to start after 10, 15 is going to have to be 10, 11.
They wanna read my mind, but I redefine what they consider delivery. I lead the time.
My name is Nate Patterson, and I'm the owner and chief editor of Solo Productions. My day starts off the same almost every day. Breakfast, listening to The Respect for Life, catching up on the happenings and the goings-ons in the city that I might do my craft. I produce various shows here in the city, and I try to stay abreast on what's going on. Right now, I'm following the movement of Minister Johnny Muhammad and the Bishop Talbot Swan, because right now, this city is about to explode.
At the end of the day, the Caribbean Stone Soul Indie Soul Festival is once a year, 1 week in a year. We go through these injustices every day. So you need to come out and also talk a little bit more about this. There's going to be vendors, there's going to be, what else is going to be happening?
Spirits lifted, like I was at the bar saying cheers, I lifted. For those behind bars paying years, lift it up for the old and graying hairs on the beard of a man with no fear that his end is near. Envision this, transitionless, nothing compared to the tribulations of living in good health. Be risen and take the time to listen to the essence, get closer to it. Do it like you were supposed to do it, and stop following the poster platform. Is stuck in the sand with the rest of the anthem. Break the glass, let the bell ring, fire alarm, rain down, sprinklers on, no eye of the storm. Just like when I perform, they all wet from the energy that's radiating out in front of me. I doubt there's gonna be another one who gives you a dose of what I give you, gon' get you closer.
Trying to get ahead.
17 minutes now on the downside of 12 o'clock. A very, very pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome to Springfield's #1. We're 90.7 WTCC FM and the Respect for Life show. My name is Brother Johnny Muhammad. I'll be with you from now to the hours of 2 o'clock. I'll be joined by no one other than my main man, my brother, my partner in fighting crime. I'm talking about no one other than Mr. AK Soul, Mr. Andrew Keith. You Keep it set here. Phone lines be open at 413-736-2781. That number once again is 413-736-2781. We got a lot of things to talk about. We got a special guest coming here at the top of the hour.
A figure to come to just talk and dialogue to the people, that community is still healing. Why wouldn't you want healing?
There are 8 million stories in the naked city, and Springfield is no different. With the killings of unarmed black men, Springfield is on edge and ready to boil over. Leaders in our community, such as Minister Johnny Muhammad, leader of Muhammad's Mosque number 13 in Springfield, and the Bishop Talbert Swan, ignite the people of Springfield and mobilize them into action.
You know, brother, you know what this is all boils down to? Fear.
But it also that 4-letter word too. I don't want to get. I know we on the air, so I don't want to. You know what I'm talking about? That C word, you know, in the caption of it. Those gatekeepers, you know what that is.
But you know something, we have that.
But let's call it what it is. What's the title of it? See, I ain't gonna say. I want you to say it.
Well, we played. What was it called? Coon Shuffle? Coon Train?
There you go. You said it, because that's what it is.
You know,
that's what it is.
It makes no sense.
You said Coon Train?
How can you deny your own brother access to your church? How can you deny your own brother to come and speak to the suffering of our people? But you will allow the local government, who don't look like you, to come in and kiss your babies, to hold your babies at the time of election,
right?
To come in at a little festival in the back of the church, where you all are barbecuing pig and sit down and sit at the picnic table with you, and ask you for your vote. You invite them and allow them to come and sit down and eat potato salad, macaroni salad that you done baked all night long because Master is coming to the church on Sunday.
Right.
But you won't allow your own black brother, who is dying every day to help save black people, you won't allow him to come and speak at your church. That is a sin.
It's a travesty.
It's a sin.
Really just keep health impacts in mind when we're doing new building assessments and new building projects, to keep something like Arena happening again, or the new Brookings School was built right on a major roadway. Actually, they're looking to expand that roadway, and these kids are being exposed to lots of pollutants. Our asthma rates are really high. About 1 in 5 Springfield residents have asthma, which is higher than the state rates, higher than the national rates. And so we've been working on this for about 2 years. The city's applying for a big resiliency grant to make us more resilient in the face of disasters like the tornado, like the big snowstorm that happened in October. And so the opportunity has come up where they realize that they need us now, because as part of the grant application, they need to have a climate action plan as part of that, not only to make us more resilient, but to prevent these things from happening in the first place, because that's where the big national movement is really moving in that direction. And so we're having it on the 24th at City Hall, 11:30 to 12:30. It's going to be a family-friendly event. We're going to have face painting. There's going to be speakers. We're going to be having singers and musical performers. We're going to hopefully have a representative from the city to be there, show their support in this. And we're really just looking for the community to come out and show that we care about our air quality, we care about our public health.
And we find that life is more abundant than we could ever dream or imagine.
And finally, Elder Joseph C. Strickland,
And we ask God that you
my cousin, on fire for the Lord.
God, give us that peaceable proof.
Elder has a Bible study that is held every Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30. A lot goes on in that Bible study. A lot of word goes forth, a lot of knowledge, a lot of reasoning. Elder's great concern is the doctrine that's being taught in Christianity today. Elder endeavors to teach the word truth by truth, line by line, in his own unique way.
Chapter 18.
Take a look.
Verses 1, 2, and 3. Read. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
When you're baptized into Christ, into his body, in the body of believers, you're a brand new creature.
That's right.
That's a new man.
Amen.
And I don't care what the flesh does.
Amen.
Right? The sin of the flesh is condemned to the flesh. It never reaches the spirit.
Awesome.
The spirit is sealed until the day of redemption. Right? So none of the sins of the flesh ever reach that spirit. That spirit man, that born again man, he's without spot, he's without blemish, he never, and he's just like Christ.
Just like Christ.
I understand that.
Right? So because the flesh don't submit, the flesh cannot submit.
Or affectionately called Nan. She's my favorite. Nan works for New England Business Associates, or NEPA, as the marketing coordinator. Nan has dreams of opening her own marketing company.
But I redefine what they consider delivery. I lead the time, you watch and wonder. This lightning, I'm chocolate thunder. Breaking backboards, I'm back for the black poor under the poverty level. They tired and worn, living in fear, they own home. See how they pride is torn. Bullet holes in the windows and sides is shown like a museum.
It's great to be with you today for NEBA, an outstanding organization, does great work for the city of Springfield, workforce development. I have the honor and privilege of strutting down that fashion red carpet in the fashion show, the FAB fashion show for NEBA. I hope to see you there. I expect to see you there to support this great organization.
Beautiful. That's one take one. Unless you want to do it again.
No, I think we're good. Is that good?
Yeah, we're good.
You sure?
Primarily a camera person. That's my thing in film, camera department. producer type?
Cinematographer Clint Ford, my partner. Clint aspires to be a Hollywood cinematographer. He's very smart, meticulous, and very good at what he does. Clint's on his first film. He wants to bring Hollywood back to Springfield.
Do you enjoy what you're doing, or do you look at it as a job where you got to really be, on top of everything? I mean, is it like a hobby or is it like a job to you? How do you look at it?
Yeah, I would. It's definitely not a hobby.
Okay.
It's definitely not a hobby. That's for sure. Yeah, I definitely study the craft, and I see it more as a job too. Because when you're not working on movies, what are you going to do? You might as well, do something that you can be good at. So that's what I'm here doing.
Clint and his crew continue on with their movie. Shooting for the second day, Clint Ford and his crew find that shooting the movie isn't all that easy.
Yeah, I told these guys everything they know.
That my barber retired, so it's soft, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
The hair.
Retired barber. Okay.
Yeah, he's got big hair, man.
Miss Elena Laster, CEO of Betty Law's Fights Back Incorporated, right here in the city of Springfield. This lady is fantastic. She spends her life giving back to the community, and her target are the youth of the city of Springfield. She has honored us with a contract to bring her superhero that she created, Betty Laws, to life.
Break it down.
Right.
You want to go for the 28th? That's a week and a half. Maybe the 25th?
25th
of January.
For our next meeting?
Mm-hmm. That's 2 weeks.
Now, what are we going to have concrete?
Well,
what should we have concrete?
I think the how we're going to do, where we're going to do the setup for, where we're going to do it. You can certainly use this how, okay? So we're good. So you want to send that to me by email?
It's like a rough sketch of an agenda, but
okay.
I can read it. So
you have your own hyphenated. Okay.
Over the weekend, during a podcast with a comedian, Mark Maron, President Obama sparked controversy during a discussion about race when he used the N-word to convey his point. Listen to this.
Racism, we are not cured of, clearly, and it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not. It's not just a matter of overt discrimination. Societies don't overnight completely erase everything that happened 200 to 300 years prior.
In several days, we'll be heading to Washington, D.C. for the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. And for us, as we're trying to gain momentum to get people on board, and this is all people. This is not a Muslim thing. This is all people. Because you know something, Brother Andrew? We're all receiving injustice throughout the country. Black, white, Latino, you name it, we're receiving injustice all around the world. Okay? And it has to come to a stop. There has to come a time where we have to put our foot down, but it's going to take us to unite to do that. And that's what 10-10-15 is all about.
Yeah, and listen, Brother Johnny, anytime you got a tennis player, professional tennis player, that is coming out of a restaurant and mistaken identity and without even questioning got a knee in his back for no apparent reason and apologizing, then for the tennis player to come out, I don't know what background he came out, but I'll come back and say the cops mean no attention when you got a knee in your back. You don't know what kind of issues and conditions that you had. And then you have a sister that sits in a psychiatric ward for 10 days for driving a BMW.
Because they didn't believe her.
Because they didn't believe her. And you're going to stick her in a psychiatric ward for driving a BMW. Anybody could be. I mean, I know a bunch of people that drive BMWs. So you're going to stop them because they're black and stick them in a psychiatric ward? And then you turn around and people say there ain't nothing wrong with this country?
Well, you know as well as I do, Brother Andrew, that there's a lot going on, in the country. And, it's time that we stand up and put a stop to it. And I said we. It's time that we stand up and put a stop to it.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's got to stop somewhere. But once again, Brother James Blake, you in town for the U.S. Open, and within minutes away, you come out of a restaurant and you got a knee in your back, and you have the nerve to sit up. You want to apologize, and then you don't even want an apology from the police department. They did apologize, but you sit up and say that nothing was wrong with that. Really, what upbringing do you have?
It's called fear.
It's something. It's called something.
Fear. So we have a caller on the air.
Okay, so we're starting to pick up. As you can see, the crowd is growing. Pretty soon we're going to take off and we're going to move up State Street, up Main Street, and take a left, and we're going to go up State Street to the federal courthouse. I'm trying to get people to get in front of the camera and just give their real feelings, right? I don't want none of this nice stuff, this politically correct stuff, because that's not why we're here. If stuff was politically correct, we would not be here. We're here because cops are killing black men. This is why we're here. I want to hear what's the raw inside of you, how you're feeling. Before Dallas happened, man, I was getting angrier and angrier every single day. I was even getting more insultive on Facebook. I was taking it out on people. That's how it made me feel. That man that came to Dallas with a gun and they called him a sniper, that could have been me, because that's where I was headed, right? We got to hit back, people. We can't always march. We can't always pray and leave it at that. Okay, we have to have leverage. We have to have an alternative plan, right? The stuff is driving me mad. You see what I'm saying? So it has to stop. And it's not going to stop by us begging people to leave us alone. Okay, so that's what it is. I'm Nate Patterson. Peace.
United! Little man, why you here? United! Why you here?
To do the stuff that they're doing.
For justice too, right, brother? Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. Little man, why you here?
The justice.
Justice? Black Lives Matter? Hello? Yes, sir. Black Lives Matter, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, my man. Thank you. Why you here, Dad?
Justice. Freedom or death. Black power.
Right, sir. I hear that. Why you here?
Why am I here? Because this is our home. You know what I'm saying? This is our home. We were indigenous to this land, so we should be able to have not only equal rights, but since we should have the top status in this land, and we're not. You know what I'm saying? We're the lowest caste in this land. So this colonial oppression has to end at some time, and we're trying to do our part to make sure it does. Yes.
Why you here, brother?
I'm here to help my other brothers awaken all of my other people. The reason why is because right now our people are asleep, and that right there is the worst, because they're blind, deaf, and dumb to the ways of this land. And so what we're doing here today is helping those other brothers and sisters wake up, so that we can make this land better for ourselves and build our own community for separation, for integration, but separation.
So I am looking forward to, God said in His Word that we are all one body in Christ. So when we march together, then we can unite together. We just tired of those that don't know him. And we are tired of those that just not recognizing that we all are one body in Christ.
For us to come together for justice and to make a difference in the community. We are tired of police brutality. We are tired of me specifically, our black lives not being treated the same. Like wages are not the same. It's just not equal out here for us. So I'm out here for that specific reason. I want equality in the whole.
Among the people that are most affected by some of the bad things that are going on, who know what the good things should be and have the will to do it. So besides Arise, we have No One Leaves, we have the Vanguard.
I wanted everyone to know that Black Lives Matter is not about anything to do with color. I happen to have children of mixed race, and I'm married to someone who's white, and everybody just needs to get this thing worked out about the situation with the police and the citizens, because the police lives also matters to me.
You know, our small steps are going to be big steps, and what I feel personally is that each and every one of us have a duty in this and a part in this. And some of us are more famous and have more people who know us and believe in us, and so they have their part to lead the marches and lead the people. And people like Zeta and I are in the background in the communities trying to just spread the word and help others to believe in the value of all human beings. Thank you.
In 3, 2.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lisa Laster. I'm here at STCC for the radio show of Tammy Sharif and the GAP program. And we're here for Betty Laws to give back to the community. Once we hear what Christmas means to you, I don't like it either. I was trying to think. Oh, I should have been looking right at you.
Well, we got you looking at me, but I'm thinking you should be looking directly into the camera. Because your audience is going to look like you're looking over.
Good evening, my name is Lisa Laster. I'm at STCC for Tammy and Tap. Good evening, my name is Lisa Laster. I'm here at STCC radio station for Tammy Street program and the youth program of the GAP. They are taking calls to know what Christmas means to you, and then you have a chance to come on down. Betty Laws fights back. Betty Laws also gives back. We're giving away 10 turkeys tonight. Thank you for listening to the program, and come on down. We're here waiting. Thank you.
But most importantly,
the Bishop Talbot Swan, one of the only pastors, bishops in this city that has my 100% respect. This man is powerful, and this man is about his people. This man, along with Minister Johnny Muhammad, are the top 2 leaders in this city.
Stay home unless it's happening to us. And we've got to get out of that mentality that if it's not knocking on our door right at this moment, that we don't want to get involved in it. And the other thing is quite frankly, we've got to step up and have a level of courage.
We need people who are in leadership to have courage to speak truth to power. Listen, for me, I can care less about falling out of the good graces of any particular politician because I'm not in this just so I can have access to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, shoot the breeze, or take a picture with somebody. The day and time for photo ops are over. That's not important. What's important is that we get out of them what we elected them to do, what they're put in office to do, and that's to better our community. And if they cannot do that, I could care less whether or not I'm on the good side or the bad side or whatever side. I work for the community. I work for the people.
There we go. We got to call a caller on the air.
Lives depend on it. Black lives depend on it.
Now, I liken Brother Johnny Muhammad, model him after Malcolm X. And the Bishop Talbot Swan, I model him after Dr. Martin Luther King. Both brothers are powerful. Both brothers walk their own road. But in times like this, they walk together. Two powerful men leading the people. Right now, Bishop Talbot Swan.
Ethnicities, but we all have come together to say enough is enough. It is the same story, but a different day. And that story involves black freedom. We have to be candid about the fact that in America, there is a resistance to black freedom. From the days of slavery to the days of the new Jim Crow, mass incarceration and imprisonment, the problem is black freedom. But we have come to tell you today that we intend to be free. I heard Don Lemon the other day, and Don kind of got under my skin a little bit, because somebody said that Philando Castile happened to be black at the wrong place at the wrong time. I came to tell you that as a free black man, there is no wrong place for me to be, and there is no wrong time for me to be there. We intend to stand up and speak loudly and boldly and declare to the nation and to the world that black lives do matter. And if you don't believe they do, before it's all over, we're going to show you that they do. You noticed on the media, almost immediately after Mr. Sterling was murdered, and yes, I said it, murdered. After he was murdered, they began to talk about his background. Isn't it interesting how black victims get treated worse than white criminals? How is it that a Trayvon Martin or another African American male is the victim of a crime, they go and find the worst photograph they can find, plaster it throughout the media. But yet, when you have young white boys who rape, maim, and shoot and kill folk, they go and get their prom pictures and put them on television. There's a problem when you victimize, or rather you try to criminalize the victim. But here's the thing, because you've been leaning and dependent on this whole criminalizing the victim so that you can make an excuse as to why they deserved what they got. But here you have Mr. Castile, who had no criminal record. He didn't have a parking ticket. He had a license to carry a firearm. Here is a man that was obeying the law, obeying a lawful order of the police officer by reaching for his license and registration, and was still murdered, shot 4 times at point blank range. You've got to erase the whole issue of whether or not someone was a criminal, because the common denominator happens to be the fact that they are black and brown people. Let's make no mistake about that. It's not about whether you're college educated. It's not about what neighborhood you live in. It's not about your socioeconomic status. It is about the tone of your skin. It is about your race and your ethnicity. And let's make no mistake, we have never, ever entered a post-racial America. Now, on the other side of town, at the Holy Grounds Coffee House, there's Pastor Joseph C. Strickland. He's the pastor of the Tree of Life Ministry, and he holds a Bible study every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I make it my business to be there. Why? Because I love the debate.
He always looked at them and said, be it unto you as you believe.
Yes, sir.
Your faith, daughter, your faith has made you whole. I mean, so when we first come to this salvation, we come as a dual, we leave that salvation, we grab hold of that stuff as a dual citizen. Right? We are saved, but we have this earthly vessel. And this earthly vessel have these old tapes. Right, but it has nothing to do with that salvation. That new man is perfected in Christ Jesus. right? But he's just not strong enough to overpower that flesh.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
but,
sir.
but the power comes from the word. You shall receive power after that the Holy Ghost has come. So the Holy Ghost comes, you have the power, but yet you don't have the authority to speak it because your mind has these old traps saying, maybe.
And you need that power. Awesome.
Bring in a verse.
Yes, sir. That's awesome.
2 Peter 2:21. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
The Indie Soul Festival comes around every year, put on by Brother Daryl Moss, who is one of the leaders of the community, a mayoral aide. Looks out for the people. And he puts on this event every year. This gives the people of Springfield, the brothers and the sisters, a chance to mellow out, cool out, and forget about all the nonsense that's happening all around us.
For black men to come and atone for not being the man, the husband, the father that we were supposed to be. And with that, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked for 1 million to come. 2 million showed. Plus many of our sisters. He asked for our sisters to keep our children out of school. We didn't go there on a weekend. We went there on a weekday. So that means we missed work, because we wanted to take responsibility for our actions. So when you ask what came out of it, there have been many men who have became better after attending the Mean Man March.
You picked the wording up, Brother Johnny. He said 10,000 fearless warriors. He didn't say 10,000 Muslims. He didn't say 10,000 Christians.
That's right.
He didn't say 10,000 Asians. He didn't say 10. He said 10,000 fearless warriors. So regardless of what color you are and who you are, he wanted people to step up and come in between of what's going on in the community. That's what he said.
How difficult was it for you and I to come together at the table and come to this reasonable conclusion?
It wasn't difficult at all. I mean, you know, many years ago, when I participated in the Million Man March 20 years ago, there was a lot of conversation throughout the community about whether Christians should get involved in a march that was being called and led by Minister Farrakhan from the Nation of Islam. And they got caught up in the differences in people's religion. And I looked at it from the standpoint of when black men and women are getting brutalized by the police, they don't care what religion you are.
Right.
When we're being discriminated against in the workplace and in housing, when we're being redlined by the banks, they don't ask you if you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Baha'i, or anything. They look at the color of your skin, and you're all the same. And so it was a no-brainer to me whether or not I should participate in the Million Man March. So we went to D.C., participated in that march, and when we came back here, we got together, Muslims, Christians, Jews. We formed the Million Man March Committee. I actually chaired the Million Man March Committee. And we did a lot of good things in our city. That turned a lot of things around. We set the stage for some of the things that are the progress that has been made to this day. So when it comes to fighting for what's in the best interest of our people, we draw two circles, and where they intersect, where we come together, where we share those concerns, we can always get together, and then we can go back to our own silos and do what we do theologically and religiously.
Okay, they came back to their respective cities and communities at that particular time, right after the march. The adoption rate of black children went up.
Right.
If you look back to what happened in the black community, crime went down, and it wasn't because of community policing. It was because black men went back to the community and took charge of their community and had conflict resolution, because we can go in and out of our city, Brother Andrew, and we can say, listen, young brother, there's a better way. And we can educate them on a better way.
Already downtown, we're going to be meeting us there. We're waiting now for a delegation, Brother Johnny and a delegation on their way now from the mosque. Once they get here, we're going to be ready to start our walk. What we want to do is we want to walk on both sides of State Street. So we're going to ask for a delegation to be prepared to walk on this side, and a delegation to be prepared to walk on that side. We'll walk simultaneously. We'll hold our signs. We will chant. You all know some chants, right? Yeah. All right. Do we have any chant leaders?
What do we want?
There you go.
What do we want?
Come on, Nate.
Well, let's flip this issue, right? But here's something else. But first of all, the examples in the Bible that we all pull from, right, where they come and got healed and this and that and the other. Well, we don't hear the rest of their story read throughout life, so we don't know what they did. All we know is they got there and got healed and walked away. We don't know if they flip-flopped or not. That's number one, right? Number two, I forgot. It was a good point.
Let me address
what he said.
They're all going back to the smile, right? When you read Peter, right? I don't know if you still have it.
2 Peter, 2nd chapter, 21, beginning in 21.
2 Peter?
2 Peter, 2nd chapter, 21 and 22.
Do you have it there?
Well, I turned the book, and I can find it real quick.
But I got it. But I just want to read
this is required of us because the Bible said that we should do this because you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, and that we should do feed on the sincere milk of the word that we're able to live thereby and save our soul. So ongoing learning of the word actually makes you stronger and more mature, but we're not looking every time we come here.
And Jesus, right, having to answer this question, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Jesus didn't answer it, but he called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. Right? Now we got this little child here in front of us, right? And what are the attributes of a little child?
Exactly. And humility. Right.
Amen. But let's get to the don't know now. You know, let's get to the don't know now. Right? It means that the kid needs to be taught everything. Right?
Yes, sir.
So in order to, the kid's a sponge.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, to humble yourself and receive at the hand of God knowledge that goes contrary to the natural knowledge.
That's right.
You know, or the nature.
That's right.
Right? And you have to take it by faith. Right? You got a conflict.
the creator of Betty Laws Fights Back. It's our latest edition of Don't Be Bullied by the Bully. And now I'd like to take a moment and introduce the real live Betty Laws, who's out there fighting crime in the street. We need your help. We need the help of the community. We're trying to get the message out on drug, alcohol abuse, domestic violence, and everything that comes under the umbrella of Betty Laws Fights Back.
Sitting here with Bishop Thomas Swan, Brother Johnny Muhammad Smiles 13. Let's pick back up. What's some of the organizations that were involved?
Well, of course, we had the NAACP 10-10-15 Organizing Committee, Muhammad Smiles number 13, Arise for Social Justice, Neighbor to Neighbor, Awake, and I know I'm missing some, but it was a whole plethora of organizations.
Black Lives Matter,
Black Lives Matter,
Vanguards.
Yeah, they were all represented out there, which
Awake.
Which is indicative of the fact that though we're doing separate work in our separate silos, they intersect, and where they intersect, we can and we should come together.
So, you know, that's a lot of organizations to pull together. Now, how did that happen? Were you guys instrumental in reaching out to them, or once they heard that, you know, what was being put together, everybody started calling, can I get in on it?
Well, as you know, we've been organizing and mobilizing with the 10-10-15 local organizing committee, and many people from different organizations have been joining the local organizing committee to get on the bus to go to Washington, D.C. So we formulated committees inside the organization, which many of these different brothers and sisters became a part of. And from that point on, once we decided that we were going to have a rally and then we were going to have it with in conjunction with the NAACP, we made contact with Bishop Swan. And from there, we just started talking and making things happen. And next thing you know, and I must admit that, you know, social media played a very good part in it. But it was a lot of communication, you know, dialoguing with one another and, you know, this person calling that person. So we worked together. And it just goes to show that we can work together.
some of the areas we can focus on to make change. We already know the justice system, we already know educational system, but just to backtrack a little bit, what are some of the things that Springfield needs to move forward as a community? I know that's a broad question, and it's a question that just not Springfield, it's a question for the nation, but what are some of the things, and this question is for both of you, that Springfield needs to do immediately that we can make immediate change?
There's three areas that come to mind for me. One, we've got to deal with justice in the criminal justice system, and that runs the ranks of the police, the court system, and beyond. Secondly, we've got to have schools that properly educate our young people and prepare them for the future. It's a cyclical effect. When they're not educated, they come out, they can't get a job, it breeds poverty, poverty breeds crime. It all starts from one place and jumps to a next like a domino effect. And then thirdly, economic justice, economic development in our communities. You know, we had $70 million worth of economic dollars that came into the city, and you're hard pressed to find a minority contractor or any number of people of colors that worked in any of those areas where those dollars came and were spent.
If we unite as a people, then we can cover everything that my brother just talked about. Because we have brilliant minds in our community, amongst us as a people. You know, there's no reason why we can't come together and take those brilliant minds and have them educate our children in the church, in the mosque. The hell with the school system. Do something for ourselves.
Right.
We have all these doctorate degrees, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, all these names, all these letters behind our name, but we're sending our children to the devil's system. Why can't we open up the mosque, open up the church, and have those educators come and teach our babies right there? Malcolm said it like this: a man that won't treat you right won't teach you right. And we found that to be true.
Because it is.
It is. So, you know, but our biggest problem that I found is that we're not united. Everybody comes to the black community and they suck from the black community. Everybody comes to the black community, open up businesses in the black community. Why can't we unite and have a mom and pop store and support the mom and pop store? Why can't we have a nail salon? We go to somebody who don't look like us to get our nails done. We are the #1 consumers in the country. Of everything. We don't provide nothing for ourselves.
My name is Nate Patterson, and I created Swingfield.